All right, yo, Bootleg podcast. Rosecrans Vic is here.
Kev, what's the deal?
Welcome, man. For people who don't know who you are, what you do, you are a fixture in the LA hip hop scene. Rosecrans Ave is the platform that you. I think a few years ago is when I first kind of started checking out what you were doing. Kind of give everyone a background on like what it is you do and like you kind of your background in the LA hip hop scene.
Yeah, so basically I started a blog like maybe like 7 years ago called Rosecrans Ave. And basically my whole thing was just I wanted to document like the underground LA artists that weren't getting played on radio or weren't getting any attention by like Complex or anything like that.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I don't give a fuck about the big artists. You know, they're going to get picked up by all these other blogs. I'm going to just focus on finding like the new talent and growing with them. You know what I mean? So that's what I try to do. I just taught myself how to write, you know, just really nobody like gave a fuck for like 3 years, which was cool because I got to like fuck up and like not have a large audience in front of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that was actually kind of cool when I look back because I fucked up so much.
Yeah,
you know,
you
just
kind of
so
get to
many
like
things.
learn on the go and not a lot of people are looking.
Exactly. So I did that and nobody really started to give a fuck until we booked 03 Greedo at a show at the Echo and it was like a Monday night and we brought like the whole city out and then everybody was like, oh shit, like damn, like everybody's paying attention to Greedo now. He got picked up by like the Fader and all these different places started paying attention to him. And then we did it again with Shoreline Mafia the next month. And then, you know, we had our podcast on Dash Radio, Rosecrans Radio. And then people just started to really pay attention to like what we were doing.
Right.
Just started giving a fuck in general.
And so who were kind of like the core artists for you guys, like as far as who you were kind of getting behind early on?
Definitely Draco the Ruler, Greedo, Shoreline. Who else? There was like the AZ Cult. It was just like this, you know, really even Blueface, you know, we were on Blueface early. We just got behind every LA artist early. Even like Roddy Ricch, like I wrote about him in like 2017. Probably, you know what I mean? Kalen, all these people, I just kind of watched them grow. And I thought they were dope. I didn't know they would grow up to be like megastars, you know, necessarily like Roddy or anything like that. Of course. But, you know, I just saw them grow and I thought they were talented and I liked the music, you know.
I mean, obviously, what I've noticed about the new generation of LA, for the most part, you know, because obviously sometimes politics gets involved and people really can't work with each other. But like, for the most part, it seems like there's a whole wave of LA artists the last couple of years that have worked with each other, embraced each other, kind of had some camaraderie. Yeah. And that was kind of always the hang up about LA, you know, because people would always be like, Atlanta, everyone's together, you know, like, But I feel like there's been a movement where everyone is, you know, for the most part, moving in the same direction. You know, obviously there's, like I said, there's some beef, there's some dumb shit, but is that something that you noticed as well? And like, why do you think that is?
That was like really a goal of mine to really create a community so that other artists can be aware of other artists. So, but I think it's like three things. I think it's the fact that not too many of the poppin' rappers are gangbanging. You know what I mean? Like a few of them are, but not too many of them are. Two, I feel like we had a lot to do with it as far as booking shows. We book everybody on the lineup. Everybody comes and meets each other. Okay, that guy's cool. Okay, I'll see what's up. You know what I mean? It's just like a community gets built after a while. And then the other is just like the fact that everybody's winning, everybody's eating. Like you can't really be that mad when you have money in your pocket. You know what I mean? And like it's like, yeah, this dude is like selling hella albums or whatever. He
and like 90% of everyone signed to TK.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that has something to do with it too. Yeah. But it's like, you know, if everybody's really winning and it's not a bunch of like hungry people, like there's not much to fight about. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's like those three factors.
Yeah, I think too, like what I thought was really important and dope was when Greedo and RJ did the show and nothing happened.
Oh, that was incredible. I got
the fact that was insane.
Show, and I was like, I'm not going to that show.
Yeah, I remember me and Head was like, I'm not going to that. Fuck that shit. Yeah. And then the next day it was like, yo, that shit was a beautiful situation.
Yeah, that was like the first verses damn near.
Low key.
If you think about it.
And the fact that like nothing happened, like it almost kind of like to me kind of showed everybody like, hey, look, because you know, with LA, that the certain shit is just it seems as if it's impossible to change.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
something like that to me showed everybody like, hey, look, like there's another way to go about this. All of the homies were there. Nothing happened.
It's, you know, at the end of the day, it's just like they're getting money. So what is there like, there's not too much to be mad about, you know?
Who do you consider out of the last 5 years in LA hip hop to be like the guy, like the GOAT?
I mean, it's like, I would think Draco, you know, but I also like on a major scale, I would say Roddy.
Yeah, now
You know
let's take Roddy out.
Okay,
That's
let's take
not
Roddy
fair.
out because he's too
Yeah,
big.
it's not
okay.
fair.
So
Of
now I'll
course.
say Draco.
Draco.
Because he went to jail for 3 years, got his spot back and elevated, if anything. Like,
Oh yeah, he's going crazy.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I was just talking to him about like last week. I'm like, bro, like you were gone for 3 years, but really more almost like 5, because before he came out for like 2 months, he was locked up for like another like a year and a half like before then. So like for the majority of the past 5 years, he's been locked up and his career is just still booming.
You know, he got out and just got to it. I think he had like, I felt like he recorded an album like it was already done like a week. I was like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember-
no,
when I
right
first
away.
talked to him, I was like, bro, you got out of jail and went straight to the booth.
Literally straight to it. And so, you know, but everybody, you know, gives him that respect though. You know what I mean? Like everybody's like, yeah, like shit, he's doing it. What can we say? You know, he's really like him. And then if he co-signs an artist, like that artist starts to blow and stuff like that. So
With the Latin shit that's going on, I saw you were just a part of that photo.
Oh,
with
yeah.
A lot of the like Mexican guys who were in town,
Yeah.
CNG and all those guys.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a whole nother movement going on there that's fucking amazing out of LA.
yeah.
Just in general. But what do you, like what do you think when it comes to like, because I always said like when I was growing up, like when I thought I'm from Phoenix, so MC Magic was like God, right?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, you know, working at car shows and shit, but
Yeah.
like the Mexican rap that was really popular was the Chicano rap.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, Little Rob got classics,
Yeah.
MC Magic got classics, but I always felt like there was you had to be, it was almost like made specifically for the people who got that.
Yeah.
It wasn't very inclusive to random. I feel like like a lot of the new Latin MCs that are doing their thing, like they make dope shit and they happen to be Mexican.
That's really the key. You know what I mean? Because a lot of like me growing up, like I had like a period of time where I did like the Chicano rap stuff. I was into the MC Magics and all that. But then I just kind of grew out of it because I wasn't like a gangbanger.
Right.
I didn't relate too much to the things. I like the music, you know, but like it's almost like it's in such like a cult-like fan base that you couldn't really get out of that box, and they could have 1 million views.
It was like fucking High Power Records.
High
and
Power
fucking-
Records,
my
all that
God.
shit.
Them shits. I remember I'd go to they'd have them booths at the fucking car shows. Them
yeah.
shits would be booming. And then they have random albums with like Busy Bone and shit. It'd be
Yeah,
like-
they were doing it on the
go
independent tip. You could buy them at like warehouse shoe sale and shit. Like,
But yeah, I think that like that's something that like it's like now there's artists where it's like, yo, you could be a fan of this guy and be, you know, whoever. You don't have to be a Mexican to like, you know, like the music is just good. You know what I mean?
that's the whole goal, and that's what I see everybody doing. Like we had like that meeting yesterday, and it was dope because like they're just dope artists who happen to be Mexican. That some of them probably don't even speak Spanish. Like they don't incorporate Spanish into their lyrics or anything like that. It's just like they grew up in LA. They're Mexican. They have, you know, homies that are black, white, Chinese, everything. You know, and they rap like, you know, and they're good.
Give us the inside of the meeting yesterday, because I saw a few people post it.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. Basically we pulled up to Abner Mars, you know, Abner Mars, the fighter. Yeah, he has a spot in like Bell Gardens, a restaurant. And so we all just pulled up, and basically like they're just planning. I mean, like the cool thing is that everybody knows each other, but it was like still like a mixer because you're still meeting people face to face and feeling people's energy and stuff like that. But like they're planning on doing like a cypher.
Fire.
You know what I mean? Like something like that, to where everybody gets on a song and then possibly, you know, go on like a tour.
All LA artists.
Yeah, all LA art. Well, there's some like little weirdos from like San Diego, and then there's
Great name, by the way.
I know, right? Yeah, in LA I was like,
Little weirdo. I like
he's
that.
a great guy. It's funny. I'm like, I wish he could change the name. Maybe
That sounds like that sounds like he might have had a Capone record back in the day. Like Little Weirdo feature Mr. Capone
Yeah.
sounds right. By the way, Mr. Capone, not Mexican.
not Mexican at all.
I think he's from Iran. He's Iranian.
Yeah, he's Iranian.
By the way, doesn't take away from like, you know, he's
Man.
But when I found that, I was like, really?
It blew everybody's mind when I was like, nah, that's a joke. Like somebody's trolling or something. I was like, no, it's really real. And I met him and then like.
Super nice guy.
Yeah. And then I'm just kind of looking like, yeah, it's probably, yeah. Like he's Indian.
So coming at it, is there going to be like a compilation project, or is it just going to just like almost like an open network where now we all know each other, now we can all work together?
That it's that. I don't think there's going to be like a whole album, possibly. I mean, that was probably only like the second meeting and the first one I attended. So I think the goal is just to get on a tour and tour across the nation. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, what up, man? Had to interrupt the Bootleg Kev podcast to tell you about our good friends at Odd Socks. All right, yo, shout out to them for sponsoring the podcast, but also for being such a fire company. And they just introduced their draws. That's right, Odd Socks now got your boxer briefs on deck, some Tapatio joints, and then of course they got the best socks in the game. Look at these Stone Cold socks. Look at these two. I mean, look, I love Fruit Loops, but I love these Fruit Loop socks. These are fire. I'm taking those for myself. They got all the licenses, Breaking Bad, Mac Dre, ODB, WWE, Street Fighter, whatever you want, they got, including these draws. I love these draws. I got some on right now. So listen, tap in with Odd Socks. Go to oddsocksofficial.com. Use the keyword Bootleg Kev and you will save 20% off at checkout. So oddsocksofficial.com, keyword Bootleg Kev, save 20% at checkout and thank me later. So you also have put out like Rosecrans Ave music, right? Is that something that you're actively working on? Maybe a whole...
I want to do a new album. I really do. But it's just like, it takes up so much time. Like
it's also dealing with... I mean, look, I put out a mixtape in 2013 with 21 songs. It was all original music. It was a fucking pain in the ass.
Oh my God.
It was a lot, bro.
Because you're not the artist, so like you have to clear every single thing.
And you just, I think singles is the way to go, man.
Yeah.
Because then you cool, we got one done. All right, let's drop it. You try to put out a whole project, man.
Yeah, I have a distribution label with me and Cali. So we put out singles. Like we just put out one with like Young T.O. and Big Swift and Jakarta Slim, so that one's pretty dope. We put it out like a month ago.
Nice.
So that's cool. Like that, but I do want to work on an album, but I know I'm gonna have to like black out like 2 months of my schedule or something to like, I'm gonna just get this shit done and ignore damn near everything else.
Who's somebody in LA right now that we don't know that you think has got all the tools to be the next star out of LA?
Remble.
You
heard of Remble?
I have not.
So he got a Draco cosign. He almost sounds a little like Draco, but
I feel like everyone sounds a little like Draco at this point.
But he's 20 years old and like he has probably like 4 songs out. But you can tell how smart he is, how like his wordplay and everything is like just next level. He did a song called like a TED Talk. And then the video is like him doing like a TED Talk. And then he's like, thank you all for listening. Like, it's just, he's on like a next level of like creativity, especially for being that young. And he's like, you know, street dude. So he has that element to him. And yeah, like labels are already like
on his head.
Yeah. So I honestly, if I were like to put my money on anybody, it would be him. Yeah. Yeah. And I have no affiliation. I've never spoken to him or anything. I just,
you don't even know him?
No.
Is it like, have you noticed like, because you built yourself into a position where a lot of people look to you in the LA scene, like, is it like a gift and a curse?
Yeah, sometimes, because, you know, people will be mad if like I don't fuck with them or something. You know what I mean? Like,
isn't that crazy? Like you can tell someone like, hey man, do your thing. I'm not a fan of the music, but like, and they'll like hate, like they'll take that personal. Like, what do you want me to just like lie to you?
Yeah, or like if I don't want to pull up to like studio sessions or like, it's just like, just don't want to listen to shitty music for like 2 hours. Like, what do you want me to do?
Someone just asked me about you. I think it was my boy Ace about beans.
Oh, yeah.
Ace was like, hey, you know this Rosecrans dude? I was like, Rosecrans Vic? He's like, I think so. He's like, yo, is it worth having him? I was like, yeah, man, he's fucking lit in LA, man. You should. I was like, yeah, of course. Beans is crazy. She's fire. What? Give me your, because I think obviously the most obvious next superstar out of LA is Blast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
aside from that, that's like obvious. Yeah.
But like that's like the no brainer.
Yeah.
He's out of here. You know, like, you know, Head had put me on a Blast a long time ago because Head tried to sign Blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude's out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like were you like hip to Blast like before he put out the tape with Bino, or was that something? Because like man, he does it all.
Yeah, I wasn't as hip to him as I would like to be. Like,
right.
I had heard the name. I definitely had. I had heard a song called I think like Fallen, and this was like, and then there's another one called Body, and I was just like, damn, these are dope. But I just listened to the singles. I didn't really like go the extra mile and like look them up on YouTube or all that. But then going back, like after he put out the song with Bino, and the tape and everything, then I like was like, oh, I had heard of him before because he was in a group called King and Blast, and it was like a duo.
Right.
But like to me, like, and they presented themselves as like IE artists. And then that King dude, like no shade, like he just wasn't very good.
Right.
So like I think that was like, it probably came across my radar, but it wasn't memorable because I heard like one whack dude and was just like, yeah, I'm good. And it's just stuff like that happens because there's like a song from probably like 2 years ago that I went back and looked up, and I was like, dude, this song is Blast part on this song is incredible, and then the other shit is just like, and it has like 2,000 views to this day probably.
That's so crazy.
So it's just, and it's something like that, but. I wish I would have been more hip on him, but he wasn't putting out solo music for that long before he like blew up really.
Nah, for sure. You got the show on No Jumper, Mad Lately.
Yep.
About to do 30 episodes or just hit
30. We just hit 30.
Yep. So congrats on that.
Appreciate that.
Once a week?
Yeah, every Monday.
So it's every Monday. It's you, Gabe C. I forget the young lady's name. Is on
Gina Views.
How did that come to be?
So Adam, I've been knowing Adam for like 3 years now. No, probably 4. Yeah, 4 since like 2017, like around the time where like Shoreline was blowing up, Greedo, all them. We just kept running into each other, and I had him on my podcast once, and then after that, I would just like send him emails of like dope videos that I thought were dope, and then he'd be like, "Cool, I'm gonna put this on the No Jumper YouTube," and I just kept like a constant line of communication with him for a while, and like we'd run into each other certain places. I think he started to grow like more of a respect for me because a lot of places he would be, I would be. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in Rolling Loud Miami, he was in Rolling Loud Miami. I was in Rolling Loud New York, he was there. Any concerts backstage, like he'd see me. I was just hustling, you know what I mean? So like, we just grew like a cool relationship. And then at the beginning of 2020, he like said he wanted to meet, went to his office, and then he's like, yeah, I want you to do like a podcast or something. He's like, not Rosecrans Radio though, I want you to do something different. And I was like, all right, cool. And then like COVID happened. And then so like everything just kind of pushed back and all that stuff. And then he hit me again in like August, I want to say August or September, and was like, hey, did you want to do that podcast still? Like we're about to, have some more podcasts on here. And I was like, fuck yeah. And I said, give me like 3-4 days to come up with like a concept and a name and everything. And so came up with the name, recruited my co-host, I hit Gina, I hit Gabe, and then we did like a photo shoot, and I shot everything to him in like 3-4 days. He was like, oh shit. Like,
it was like ready to go.
Yeah, he's like, damn, you guys are ready to go. I'm like, yeah, we're fucking ready to go.
What's because you were doing the Rosecrans Radio, what is like something that you learned doing, because it's kind of a different type of thing, so like with anything you get better as time goes, but what's something you had to kind of like learn from making the switch and doing Mad Lately? It's streamed on YouTube, so people commenting the whole time. Like,
I mean, it's just a way different platform, so I approach it differently. Like Rosecrans Radio was just like me interviewing artists or talking, not too deeply. I wasn't really trying to like make people laugh, anything too much. Like it was just kind of like I had like a more serious tone on there, I guess you could say. But then I'm like, okay, we're going to No Jumper. Like they have a certain audience.
Yeah, you guys are definitely shooting the shit now.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, we have to turn it up to a certain extent or people are going to call us boring or whatever. And the funny thing is that like the way I am on Mad Lately, like that's really the real me.
That's you, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I'm out with my homies and stuff like that. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to just put myself on display, and like, it like ruins my life, but it like makes it way better at the same time because I'm a little too honest sometimes.
Hey, and it's dope. Shout out to Gabe, who's somebody who's a very underrated figure in LA.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I always say he's kind of like Power 106's like Sauce.
Yeah.
Like a lot of that shit that gets played late at night.
Hell
He's
yeah.
putting all them dudes on shit over there.
Man, nah, for real. I'd be tricking Gabe into liking some shit sometimes.
We were trying to steal him at Real 92.3 for a while.
I heard about that.
We was definitely trying to steal him. Yeah, but yeah, nah, shout out to him. What's next for, obviously you want to put out more music, but what is next for your platform and for you?
Just doing more shows. We have Don't Come to LA. We filmed that, and to give a little backstory.
And you did
that,
like a South by thing called Don't Come to LA too.
Yeah, so we did a concert series back in 2018 where we booked everybody like that's popping in LA besides Draco and Greedo because they were locked up. But we had like Blueface, Rucci, AZ Chike, One Take J, everybody like hella early. So we had all them. We really created that community, J Perico, all them. And we only did 5 shows, but every single one of those shows was like incredible. We had like Skrillex pull up, Don Kennedy, J305. Like the crowd was even more star-studded sometimes than like the performers.
Hey, text this dude back on my phone. Ooh.
Nice.
There it is.
Yeah, Freddie Gibbs pulled up to perform.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like
who did Fred pull up to perform with?
211.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're like best friends.
Yeah. So OMB Peasy, like we just had like a crazy amount of like special guests always. And it was such a dope vibe. So we made sure to like never dilute that brand.
Right.
And we only did it when we knew it could be dope. Right. So we did 5 and then we did another one at South by. That's when we brought out Reason. We brought out Rucci, Kalen. We just Nardwar pulled up. Like
That's so crazy.
It was incredible. Andrew Barber was there. Like it was an incredible show. And we've been for the last 2 years we've been trying to put it together to do it again, but like conflicting schedules. Cypress was on tour for like 2 years straight with Shoreline. Jeff and I were busy. So this past weekend we just recorded like we're gonna do like a live,
like a stream type thing.
Yeah, but also we're gonna make it more like of a documentary, like I guess you could say like a almost like a Fade to Black. I mean that's like obviously the best case scenario.
Of course.
But something like that. You know what I mean?
So where you documented the whole day.
Document the old shows, put interviews in there, you know what I mean? All that stuff. So like really make it like a timeless piece that people can watch 20 years from now and be like, oh, okay, this was this era in LA. You know, so like we filmed the performance aspects of it. Probably in about 2 weeks, we're going to perform, like we're going to do the interviews.
Right.
And just, you know, have the editors put all the sauce on it and then hopefully release it like in June.
Last thing, where do you see LA going music wise in the next 5 years? Like how, like, cause I always say like, there's been so many artists who I thought should have been bigger to come out of LA over the last 10 years or so. Like someone like Joe Moses, you know what I mean? Like there's like guys who like, man, like RJ is a perfect example.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the disconnect was that didn't escalate as big outside of LA as we had hoped. And I think that's with some of the newer generation, there's some potential there. You know what I'm saying? What do you like? Where do you see things going, man?
I mean, if we can get.
By the way, RJ and Joe Moses aren't done.
Yeah, not at all.
You know what I mean? But
I think if LA continues to build like a strong community, and have a lot of like key people behind the scenes making these moves that will actually cross brand with artists in Atlanta and artists in like New York and you know across the globe, then I think we have the talent to really like run shit. Like, and I'm obviously super biased, but like you have Blast, you have Bino, you have Kalen, you have all these artists that don't only make West Coast type music,
big records that no matter where they're at.
That's what I'm saying. We have Roddy, you know what I mean? So it's like we have all different types of artists. We have Draco doing songs with Ozuna and Drake and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I honestly, like in the next 5 years, like everybody stays on their shit, doesn't get complacent, you know, and happy with just making like 10 bands a show and stuff like that. It's like, I think we could really run shit.
There it is. Rosecrans Vic, Bootleg Podcast.
Appreciate you, bro.
Perfect.